All right, tons of questions about GameStop and Roaring Kitty and everything. So I just wanted to make a video answering it all. If at any point in this video I make my case and you understand my point, leave a comment and say I love volatility because that's what this is. Whether you're a Roaring Kitty fan, whether you're not, you can go long, you can go short. He creates bubbles, okay? He creates supernovas. Just like I always say, I appreciate stock promoters. Just like I always say, I appreciate short sellers for their sacrifice for inadvertently creating giant supernovas when they short too aggressively. I like anything that creates ripples. Why? Because you can trade the 7-step framework that I teach, long or short term, and you just need that volatility. So whether you love him, whether you hate him, recognize that there is volatility and opportunity. So I'll change it. I'll say I love volatility and opportunity. Because many of you haven't studied the past enough. You don't know a market where there's no ripples. Many of you want the ripples and the manias and the bubbles from 2020 and 2021. You don't realize that was an aberration. If you go back throughout history, stock market history, some years there's very little upside, very little downside. That is a bad year for trading. Right now, it's a good year for trading. It might not be the most fun. It might not be the easiest. It's not just like everything goes up forever like in 2020 and 2021. You do have to be aware, but there is volatility and opportunity in Roaring Kitty, whether he likes it or not, whether he admits it or not, whether you like him or not. He created all of this, okay? GME is a useless stock without him. It is a useless company without him and his whole kind. This goes with crypto promoters too. Some people say, like, Tim, you hate crypto. Well, I hate all the imposters who pretend to be me and tell people to get into crypto. But I like this volatility, okay? I hope that crypto goes up to 1 million. Why? Because it's volatility, it's opportunity. When crypto goes up, people are richer, or traders are, speculators are. And the best part is that there's a lot of sympathy plays. So if you think that you're talking to me on Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Facebook, they take like pictures of me. And like, unfortunately, I used to take a lot of selfies. So they like screenshot my selfie photos and then they pretend to be me. You're not talking to me, FYI, okay? I'm not DMing any single one of you. And some people say, like, why don't you answer me back? This is why. Because you don't know if you're ever talking to me or not. So I just made it a rule not to talk to anybody outside of my weekly challenge webinars. This is why if you want to talk to me, or, my top students too, if you think that you're talking to them, you're not. It's all imposters. It's all crypto scammers. So it's sad that there's crypto scammers. It's sad that, there's hodlers where people literally held GME believing in Roaring Kitty and they're like, Roaring Kitty has now let me down. No, you let yourself down, you moron, okay? You didn't study enough. You tried to rely on somebody else. This is something that all my millionaire students have learned. Rely on yourself. Stop believing in these BS schemes, okay? When I say that I want crypto to go to 1 million, it's not that I believe in crypto. It's that I believe in, the mass ignorance of crowds, the mass dementia and hysteria of crowds, or, extraordinary popular delusions and the madness of crowds, if you want to get into historical books. I really hope it goes further. But at the same time, it's sad how many people are getting scammed with Bitcoin and, other shady cryptos, because frankly, it's all gray area. If you lose $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $50,000, $1 million, who are you going to call? There's literally no government that protects it. Governments hate it. So good luck if you get scammed. Good luck if you lose a lot. That sucks. So I wish that crypto was policed, and then I think it would have more upside. But then again, they love not dealing with any government. So that's the gift and the curse. I know I'm all over the place. You just want to hear about GME. But GME and Roaring Kitty are very similar to Bitcoin. You're hoping, you're betting on something, you're hodling because it's fun, because it feels good to believe in something. And hopefully I can teach you not to believe in anything in the stock market. Because anytime you believe in something for too long, it's going to rip you apart. It's going to break your heart because you never know when to get off. I know a lot of people who made a lot of money in 2020 and 2021 on crypto and a lot of other plays, and then they lost most or all of it in 2022 and 2023 when, reason set in. I don't believe in any of these companies long term. I don't believe in any of these things. There's been so many pump and dumps. There's been so much hype over the years. But at the same time, I don't short sell anymore. I don't step in front of the train and say, this has to be the end. I know a lot of people who made money on the way up on GME and on the way down. I know a lot of people who had profits and they didn't take it, and now they have losses, and they're hoping that, Roaring Kitty can come back. Like, if you watch the Roaring Kitty debacle, right, where he was on like live stream, like GameStop dropped 40%, because he said nothing. He literally played dumb. He was crazy. He's always been like this, but you would think that, when he pathetically, just pretended that he's investing in the company for the long run, and yet he has a lot of options that expire like in a week and a half. You think that he's playing dumb. Maybe he's luring in short sellers. Maybe he's like the master, lurer. And if he lures in short sellers, and then it's going to spike even more later on. I hope that's the case. But I think also he's just worried about the law, because like everyone is depending on him. He was like, 20 minutes, 30 minutes late to his own live stream. I did a video. I posted this video and I was like, come here, kitty, kitty, kitty. At the time, there were like 400,000 people waiting. I think it got up to like 600,000 or 700,000 people. But I was like, I just wish that, again, I don't know his legal situation. I'm guessing there was like a lawyer in the room, or, he definitely consulted lawyers before. He doesn't seem like, mentally unstable. I think that would just be crazy given the power that he's amassed. But I gotta believe that either the lawyer told him to tone it down, and or GME reporting terrible earnings and doing an offering right before his live stream, which basically busted the whole squeeze. One or the other or both really destroyed the whole opportunity for him with whatever he was going to say. But again, like Bitcoin, I hope GME goes up to 100. I hope that there is a gamma squeeze. Some people were like, oh, Tim, you're just a hater. You're telling me not to believe. I'm telling you not to believe in anything so that you're not disappointed, but at the same time, be open to anything. Think about that. I always say trading isn't scary if you trade scared. If you trade scared, you're willing to cut losses, you're willing to take singles, trading really isn't scary. If you only HODL, if you have to believe in somebody else and you're dependent on somebody else to perform, it's very scary. You have no control. And so for me, trading is all about control, right? Like, you look at my profits, I'm up a little over 150 grand on the year. Terrible compared to big traders. Very good compared to most traders, but everyone has like an opinion. I trade scared so that trading isn't scary. I have lots of small wins, small losses. You know the way I played GME? FFIE. This is a sympathy meme stock. And guess what? I only made $2,000. I bought it into the close when GME was, spiking. And I wish I had stayed awake because it actually went up to like 80 cents after hours, but I'm in Europe. So I sold too early. This coulda, woulda, shoulda been a 10 grand profit if I had stayed awake. But while I'm in Europe, it's better for me to, just focus on pre-market, because with the time zone, it's really tough for me to stay up past like 1, 2 a.m. Jack Kellogg, really proud of him. He's up 700,000 this year. Not too happy with his trading lately because it's been very choppy, but he nailed FFIE. Where was it? Right here, the gapper. He's getting hit on like CRKN, but this was a good trade on FFIE. And I think he sold some in the 70s too. But that was the same trade, first screen day with GME spiking. So you could have traded a sympathy play. You could have bought the first green day on GME. It kept going. You do not have to give up control. You do not have to rely on Roaring Kitty or, Zach Morris because he's pumping stuff, or Atlas Trading, or, crypto pumpers, or I guess there's crypto WhatsApp. You don't have to rely on anybody else. Learn to rely on yourself. Like, this is a picture that of several of my millionaire students here in Italy, but I have 40 plus now, and it's growing faster and faster. Shout out to JCP, my new millionaire student. He's going to come out here in a few days too. I'm excited to hang out with him. But we're going to have more and more millionaire students, and they're not reliant on anybody else. Okay? Jack Kellogg, 12 plus million in profits. not reliant on anybody else. And that's the biggest thing. You can trade scared. You can be self-sufficient. You can admit that GME is likely a pump and dump. You can admit that whether Kitty plays dumb on his live streams, whether his E-Trade account is real, we don't know what's going on. But it's all very shady. It's all very gray area. Some people are like, no, Tim, you just don't understand. You're taking the hedge fund side. I don't care. I don't care whether hedge funds win. I don't care whether Roaring Kitty wins. I'm just telling you my thoughts because I'm independent. I'm unbiased, and it's sad. I'm not going to call out all the people who hodled and now they're actually down and they're blaming the stock market. They're blaming the hedge funds. They're blaming Roaring Kitty. Blame yourself, okay? If you depend on anybody else, you get what you deserve because you are not self-sufficient. You cannot trust anybody in this industry. You cannot trust any trend. You cannot trust any stock. You cannot trust any crypto. There's a reason why 90% of traders lose. So by all means, I always say this too, ride the hype, just never believe it. I'm not saying be a short seller and be negative and toxic in life. That's a pathetic, disgusting, sad, depressing way to live. Trust me, I used to be a short seller. I've made millions short selling. I probably could have made quite a bit shorting GME. I am not a short seller anymore. I don't promote short selling anymore. I think it's very dangerous for newbies. And like I said, I think it's a very bad way to live. The short sellers that I do know, they're all miserable because they're always looking for the worst. They're always looking for failure. And even if they're right, the majority of the time where they say they're a realist, it's just sad. No one likes somebody who's always sad and looking for failure. My life has gotten so much better since I've gone long only. My millionaire students have grown exponentially since I've gone long only. And it's just not as stressful. So for me, again, I want you to understand all angles. I am not for or against GME. I am not for or against Roaring Kitty. I am not for or against Bitcoin. I just like volatility. And I like education. And I like every single pump. I like every single stock. I like any little thing that goes up 50, 100 times. FFIE, I might have sold too early. Right in here. I bought it. Where was it? Like right in here. Into the close. Right here. It wasn't a breakout yet, but I thought that it could, go up overnight. And sure enough, it did. I sold it in here. I held it for like an hour or two, and I was passing out. And I had the decision right here when it was around 59, 60. And like this was after midnight for me. And I had the decision. And I said, you know what? Should I stay awake? It could go up. It might not. I'm really tired. I had a big day the next day. I have all these students in town with me. Or do I, just hodl and let it go? But then I got to focus on it the next morning. Or do I just take the 2K? And if you look at my trading over 25 plus years, you know that my average trading profit is 2K. So I took the 2K. Like I said, trading does not have to be scary. Some people will say, Tim, come on, just hodl it, just live a little. No. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to anybody else. I'm not going to listen to a newbie. I'm not going to listen to a veteran. I'm not listening to anybody else but myself because I make the stock market work for me. And I want you to understand that you can make the stock market work for you. Even if someone says, oh, you sold too early. Oh, you didn't make too much. Shut up. Tell them to shut up. They don't have an opinion on you. They don't deserve an opinion on you. They shouldn't influence you. Do you know how many people have ripped on like Jack for, quote, only making $12,000? Or, he's up a lot, but he's also losing. You know how many like haters he has? You know how many haters I have? And yet Jack is in his early 20s, up 600,000 year to date, and now over $12 million. Okay? I am so proud of this guy. Even though he's still learning, even though he's still young, I highly encourage you to learn from him too. I'm so proud of my students, not just for being self-sufficient, not just making a lot of money, but now paying it forward and helping others learn. And some people say, well, Tim, why should I learn from Jack and not just you? Because I'm impatient. Jack is more patient. That's how he's made nearly double what I've made in a third of the time. I think you can learn a little something from both of us. If I were you, I would learn from me. I would learn from him. I would use Iris. I would use Oracle. I would use XGPT. The cool thing about my company is that we're having all sorts of new ways for you to learn. Some people don't want it. Some people are like, I just want a stock to buy and a stock to sell because you want to be like Roaring Kitty. It's very simple. Just buy GME and HODL. Ape strong together. All this crap. Learn different strategies. Use different tools. Become self-sufficient. I'm very proud of students like, Chris Shunk. He was here in Italy with me, made $28,000 this week. And he's literally bringing his laptop to dinner. He's bringing his laptop to the beach. He's living the laptop lifestyle. This is him like on the boat too. This is his brother Evan. And they were like going to the Blue Grotto in Capri and they're trading. They're literally trading. And this is Evan's fiance, Bianca. She rocks and she's really supportive and they're getting married and it's beautiful. I just want you to understand that they're living their life and still profiting. And you can do this too. They might not be millionaires. I think both of them are up around 800,000. But it's not just about making $1 million or zero. Some people even say like, oh, I can't part-time trade. Of course you can. You can part-time trade. You can full-time trade. You don't have to go to the beach with your laptop. You can sit in an office all you want. You can trade from bed. I love trading from bed. My back is all messed up. You can make trading work for you. You can do whatever you want. And the best thing I think about this, Roaring Kitty, not his presentation, which was trash, but the fact that he's doing it from his basement. If you watched him, he's just like in his little computer chair. He's like drunk, like he's just laughing about it. And again, I don't know whether he's playing dumb to learn short sellers, which would be awesome. Or if he really is just, worried about legal, or if he really is that way. I really don't know, but it doesn't matter because I don't rely on him. And I hate that I'm getting so many messages from people who are blaming him or relying on him, and people who blame like Bitcoin scammers and others. They rely on crypto, not scams, but like rely on like crypto going up because, crypto has done exceptionally well. And so they rely on it. Don't rely on anybody else but yourself. Okay? Don't think about needing anybody else to fulfill your own strategy. Self-sufficiency is the key. And that is really what is good about Roaring Kitty, because he's done it from his basement using Reddit and using the tools at his disposal. But it's created a whole society who just listens to him. And there's absolutely no reason to not sell FFIE into strength, to not sell AMC, which is another sympathy play, and most specifically not to sell GME. Okay? You can take profits at any time. Don't worry about what some, Roger 436972 on Reddit thinks. Okay? Don't let anybody influence you. I don't care if you get 500, what is it? They have upvotes and downvotes. If you get 5,000 downvotes with what you say, I don't care. Grow a spine. Okay? Be independent. And if you don't want the hate, if you can't handle the hate, if you're really that insecure, then don't post. Okay? But you can still act on your own. You should act on your own. You should trade on your own. There's a reason why I say cut losses quickly and take singles. It doesn't matter if you sell too soon and you lock in 10, 20, 30% profits. Most people lost money on GME. They wasted this opportunity. They wasted Roaring Kitty. And then some people will say, but Tim, you're comparing Bitcoin and GME, and guess what? Bitcoin came back to its highs. Yes, Bitcoin did. And I hope it goes much further. And GME very well could go back to the highs. But you don't need to take that risk. You do not have to HODL. HODLing in the future will be looked at as a disease that it is. Just like everyone smoked and no one realized that it was really dangerous for you, or that there was lead in the pipes, or, there's a million things that society at one time thought was okay. And then you start to realize, wait a minute, it's not. God bless hodlers. God bless patient people with crypto. Like I said, it's been a fantastic performer. But just because even if you've hodled in the past doesn't mean that you have to hodl in the future. It's good to take even some partial profits, because it's just, it pains me when people don't lock in anything. And then inevitably it crashes, so many penny stocks especially, where they just seem so good. I don't know why, HMBL lured in so many hodlers. This used to be TSNP, and now look at it. And none of this stuff is new. But right in here, HMBL, everyone thought it was going to the moon. And guess what? My students and I were banking. Every single one of my millionaire students on this boat banked on TSNP when it was TSNP. And now it's, HMBL. They changed tickers because they're just terrible. What was that other one? ENZC. Oh my God. ENZC has so many people, but Intel, but all of this stuff. Shut up. It is a pump and dump. Just use default. Just give me the freaking ticker. Look at this. 0.0029. I can bring up 100 plus penny stocks that all did this. And this might be GME in the future for all we know, given that we know that it's up based on like Roaring Kitty. But like I said, I don't want GME to crash. Like some people will say, oh, Tim, like you're a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Like you're really shorting it. I have not shorted anything in years. And my life has been infinitely less stressful, infinitely more positive. I am not shorting. I don't think newbies should short. I don't want to short. I probably could make money, but again, I have basically dedicated myself to my students. So I'm not going to just like give a grenade to a baby because I think that's basically what shorting is. Shorting is very dangerous. People like Jack Kellogg, he might be up 700,000 this year, but he was up 1.2 million and he lost a lot shorting FFIE too early, which has also dropped. So learn from ENZC, HMBL, so many other plays. Let's see. OZSC was another one. Just thinking of some off the top of my head where I said these are all going to crash and no one believed me. What was it? HQGE. I got a lot of promoter flack over this one. I'm curious if they're still even in business. Yep. See, look at all of this. Okay. So they all have these amazing run-ups in the past and they almost always come back to, look, HQGE 000005. What? LTNC was another one. Are they still LTNC? This one got a lot of people pumped and dumped. And then look, it started to come back and a few people believed it. Stop believing in these things. Start being a realist. I'm not saying short sell because you never know when a pump is going to come or how far it's going to go. And it could, like Bitcoin, get pumped many times. And a case can be made that it's going to go higher. Like I said, I hope it does. I hope GME goes higher. I hope Bitcoin goes higher. I hope everything goes higher for more volatility. But at the same time, I'm just going to keep taking singles. I'm going to keep selling too soon, usually, like I did here. I'm going to keep locking in. I think I made like $5,000 on the week. But guess what? It adds up nicely. And as a teacher, I don't have the luxury to just, HODL. It's not even a luxury. I don't have the idiocy to HODL. I don't have the lack of discipline because I'm trying to teach you, good rules that I wish someone had taught me in the beginning. Remember, I'm self-taught. So part of the reason why I haven't made more and what's held me back my entire life in trading is that I tried to figure all of this out on my own. I wish I could go back in time and join my own challenge and get guidance, right? If I could like time travel, I would join my challenge in a second. I know some people are like, yeah, that's funny, you're biased, but it's true. Some people are like, oh, why do you always talk about your products? Because my products change lives. My products, I'm not selling a Snickers bar that's going to just make you fatter and satisfy you for like a second. I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom. I'm teaching you everything I learned the hard way over 25 plus years. So you might not want to hear it. You might want to say like, stop talking about, Roaring Kitty like this. Stop talking about crypto like this. Stop talking about ENZC or LTNC or any of these plays. But I'm not going to stop. I'm going to give you my own time-tested lessons. Remember, once upon a time, I believed in Cygnus E transactions. I was right about print-at-home ticketing, but wrong about the company. They went bankrupt. I lost $1 million. Lost all my industry credibility. I have never lost anything close to $1 million since then. It was a great lesson. So if you did lose on Roaring Kitty or crypto or any of those other penny stock pump and dumps that I brought up, do not fear because you're actually ahead. You need to learn these lessons. And I'm just trying to crystallize it to make sure that you do learn them. Because the worst thing is that some people learn the wrong lessons and then they, keep doing these bad habits and they never change. And so you're basically shooting yourself in the foot every single trade, practicing bad habits. The sooner you can start practicing good habits, the better you'll do. You can make a case and say, oh, I sold a lot of these plays too soon. like FFIE, and I have some losses like VRIX kept going too. But it's okay because I cut my losses. This was Friday's trade on VCIG. They had some really good news, crypto news in the morning, and they were spiking, and I tried to give it time. And what happened? It kept failing. And because I was disciplined, I was like, you know what? I don't care what it does. I don't believe in it. I got to follow the rules that I teach. This was the spike on the news, and it never did anything else. And when did I get out? I got out here in the 70s when it clearly could not bounce. You don't have to hold to the 60s. You don't have to hold to the 50s. I don't care what Reddit was saying. I don't care what any chat room was saying. I don't care what any promoter was saying. I have my rules. And you might say, damn, Tim, like, how could you even buy this at 80 and then 76 and then you add it again? I'll try it. I have no problem trying to buy for these spikes, especially in the morning, especially pre-market. Pre-market spikes have been crazy. Okay? Remember earlier last week, I made $2,000 buying the pre-market spike on SYTA. And this was beautiful. And I added to my position and then I sold it in the 240s. It got up to the 260s. I sold a little too soon, but again, I hit my magic number of 2,000, roughly. If you trade long enough, you'll have a magic number. You'll understand what your sweet spot is, whether it's $1,500, whether it's $2,000, whether you have a small account and it just might be $100 or $200. But the more trades you can do in your sweet spot, you stop worrying about everything else. It's not like I've never made more, but on small speculative trades, which I think is working best right now in this market, Jack has done very well himself on small speculative trades. What's really hurt him this year is, he goes aggressive and he tries to hold with size and have patience, and that's just not working right now. Same thing with those who held with size on GME. I'm not going to rub salt in the wound, but there's a lot of irresponsible people who did not take any profits on the way up in the 30s, in the 40s, in the 50s, in the 60s. Like, I saw people saying, I'm not selling till 100. Doesn't matter that Roaring Kitty might be a billionaire at like 65 or 70. Nope. I believe in Roaring Kitty. I believe in GME. I'm going to hold till 100 or 200 or something, ridiculous. And again, I really want to make it clear. I hope that Roaring Kitty is luring in short sellers. I hope this goes higher. It's still not going to change anything on this stock because again, you can't rely on Roaring Kitty to help you. You can't rely on anybody else to help you. If he does pump the stock, if it does break out to new highs, I have no problem buying it. But understand when I buy it, it's not because I believe in Roaring Kitty. It's not because I believe in GME. It's because I sense opportunity and I appreciate volatility. And that's really what you need to do with every single play. Appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate this big spiking. Because without Roaring Kitty, without Reddit, this stock is dead. The stock market is dead. And we don't want that. You want volatility, but you also have to lock it in. It's heartbreaking how many people, some people literally have been holding since 2021. And they finally have a chance to break even or even profit and they don't sell again. Like, how many chances do you need before you wake up? And sadly, the answer for most people is they're never going to wake up. They're never going to get disciplined. They're never going to take profits. They're never going to be profitable. They're never going to use the stock market to change their life. They're going to be miserable. They're going to lose. They're going to blame Roaring Kitty. They're going to blame the stock market. They're going to blame everybody else other than themselves because they are not self-sufficient and they have the wrong attitude. So, long story short, rely on yourself. Study hard. Like my student, Chris Shunk and his brother, live the laptop lifestyle. By all means, travel, get outside, do that. I want more millionaire students, okay? But whether you're a millionaire student and you want to help your family, you want nice things, if you want to build schools like I do, whatever your motivation, get rich, get wealthy, get independent, get free, and then you can do whatever you want. Most people don't have that freedom. Most people don't have that opportunity. They're working for a boss they hate. They're in debt. They're just trying to make their financial responsibilities. So you're betting on these long shots like GME, like a lotto ticket, to try to save you from your misery. But instead, if you learn this strategy, if you learn to capitalize on volatility, it's not lotto tickets. You don't have to bet on the long shot. You can actually bet on high odds strategies, which is what my students and I use. Not that we win every time, but they're much higher odds strategies than lotto ticket hodling mentality, which, mark my words, will destroy more people in the long run than anything else. I think hodling will actually probably destroy more lives than cancer in the long run. And I wish that I could get through to them, but so many people are brainwashed, whether it's, crypto or Roaring Kitty or some penny stock pumping up. They just want something to believe in. And I'm telling you to believe in yourself, believe in the power of education, believe in your own potential. That's why I love building schools, not for my own ego, but because I see where the money can go to really help these kids. Every single one of these kids in this picture, and we have 100 plus schools around the world now. Every single one of these kids now has the potential to build their own dream life. They have the tools to build their own dream life. Previously, they didn't. Everyone watching this video has access to the internet. You have the opportunity to change your life. You have the opportunity to study. A lot of these kids, because we build these schools in the middle of nowhere, they don't have internet. They don't have running water. They don't have clean water. They don't have a lot of food. And they certainly don't have access to education until we build them the school. You watching this, you have endless opportunity to watch and learn. Whether it's people like Jack Kellogg, who, mind you, Jack was a valet and he was parking other people's cars while he was studying my videos, just like this one, in between parking cars. So you can be a valet. I have a lot of valets. Chris, it's actually funny. He said this, surreal remembering when my bro first joined the challenge and I genuinely thought he was being scammed. And then after a year, he starts making money and swoop in and ask him to teach me. And then we both start making money. And now we're trading in Tim's Villa, one of the most beautiful places in the world. Their parents also thought that it was a scam. By all means, think that I'm a scam. That's fine. I told you not to believe in anything. But the beautiful thing about me not being a scam is I'm going to prove to you every single day. I'll trade scared. I'll take some losses. I'll take some wins. More times than not, I'll be right. More times than not, I won't lead you to slaughter like Roaring Kitty or a lot of these crypto or penny stock promoters do. It does me no good to trade against my rules. It does me and you all the good in the world to trade with rules. The whole world can hate on penny stocks. The whole world can hate on me. The whole world can hate on crypto. But if you trade scared, trading isn't scary. And if you trade volatile assets in a disciplined way with a meticulous approach based on data, based on historical fact, based on science, based on countless examples, you will do better. By all means, don't believe me. It's fine. I don't get offended by those who don't believe me. I appreciate it. If you're my hater, please tweet at me, leave a hateful comment. I love it. It's like fuel. Okay? I know some people there's different kinds of fuel sources, right? For your car, there's different kinds of cars out there that have different fuels depending on your fitness level. I know some people where they're paleo or pescatarian and they're like, oats are my power, or steak is my power, or avocado and eggs. What my fuel is haters, okay? I love my haters because I wouldn't work this hard if people didn't think that this was real. Why do I work so hard? To prove my haters wrong? Because it gets me going, right? Just like Tom Brady remembers he was drafted last in the NFL draft. Michael Jordan, if you watch his 10-part documentary on Netflix, which I highly encourage you to do, The Last Dance, he always internalizes all the trash talking, any negativity, and he used it to go to the next level. For me, I'm very proud of my students. I love beautiful scenery. That also inspires me. I don't just thrive off negativity, but the negativity, the hate, I love stories like this. Where literally he tweeted this, but he also told me this in person. Looked me straight in the eyes. I genuinely thought that you were a scam. And I can see that because what I teach sounds too good to be true. Oh, penny stock millionaires. Oh, look at all my millionaires. Oh, look at all these kids. Oh, we're building all these schools. Oh, look, I'm pointing. It could be you. I know it sounds too good to be true. But the beautiful thing is now with 40 plus millionaire students and more on the way, hundreds of students making six figures, and now, hundreds of schools, soon to be thousands of schools, because I'm going to keep donating too much. I don't care if my accountant doesn't like it, because I frankly don't make enough to donate the amount of money that I do, but that's the beauty of freedom. You get to do what you want. And I love every school. I love every millionaire student. I love every hater. And all I can do is try to teach you what I've learned. So again, leave a comment below. Say, I love volatility. I love opportunity. Thank you, Roaring Kitty, for, the ups and the downs, but more importantly than anything, the volatility and the opportunity. I hope that he has another pump coming before his options expire in like 10 days. Say whatever you want, Roaring Kitty. Get out there. Just probably don't do any more live streams because you look like a freaking joke. And I'll just wait for big plays, and then you let the patterns play out. You don't have to guess news. You don't have to guess the fundamentals of companies. You don't have to guess which is the next NVIDIA. I highly encourage you to learn price action and learn patterns and then how to react. The same patterns happen over and over again. It might not be an exact science, but it's a very beautiful thing to have the odds on your side, not to rely on anybody else, not to have lotto ticket type odds, not to be so scared or stressed or think that you're not in control. You are in complete control of your trading. You are in complete control of your life. You are in complete control of your education. You do not need to follow Roaring Kitty. You do not need to follow any promoter. You do not have to believe anybody's BS. If you want to believe something, believe in yourself. Because if you talk to my millionaire students, if you know my millionaire students, I'm not trying to knock them, but you know that they're just average people. I'm not that smart. I'm not that good at math. If you watch enough of my video lessons, DVDs, and webinars, I make math errors all the time. I'm not that smart. I say that. I have to recognize it. I have to be honest about it. If I can make $7.5 million, Jack Kellogg is not that smart. He would agree too. He really would. He's very humble. You have to be blunt about it. You have to be introspective about, who you are, what your capabilities are. And I'm just going to be real with you. But the beautiful thing is knowing that you're average or knowing that, your limitations. And then despite your limitations, you can still do the seemingly impossible. Like, I don't think if you polled anybody in Jack's school, any of the schools that he went to, I don't think any single one of them would have thought that he would be capable of doing this in his early 20s. But that's their mistake because they didn't know he would join my challenge. They didn't know that he would maybe not be the smartest person, but that he would be one of my most dedicated students. And then he would take the lessons and the data that he's collected over the years to make even more than me. And he's just one example. But I want to be real with you about everything. If you invest like a lotto ticket and you HODL, yes, you can make more than us for a very short period of time because some of these plays just go crazy. But you will inevitably lose it because you don't have the proper preparation, mindset, or, framework. Just like most lotto ticket winners go broke very quickly. Many uneducated sports stars go broke. Many uneducated entertainers and athletes. They all lose most or all. Why? Because they don't have proper education. They're relying on others. Some athletes get injured. You're relying on, the gifts that you might have athletically. You're relying on other stuff where if that disappears, you are done. If you invest in your education, if you get so smart and just become such a nerd, it's really difficult not to do well in the long run because you're just so smart. And again, not that Jack and I are so smart, but we're so prepared. We have such a wealth of knowledge and information that we have painstakingly acquired over the years. Not that we're inherently smart. If Jack and I took like tests, we would probably do pretty bad. Like a math test or like what is it? A Series 7 test if you want to be a broker, we'd probably fail, to tell you the truth. But you don't need necessarily book smarts. Like you can study the market, you can study patterns, you can study price action, you study yourself and you find discipline. Am I surprised that Roaring Kitty failed spectacularly and the stock dropped? Am I surprised that so many people lost their asses? Sadly, no. Why? Because we've seen this pattern over and over again. If you follow my 7-step framework, I'll link it below. Oh, what is this? It's a 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's a 4. It's a 5. It's a 6 and it's a 7. It's all 7 steps, all within 24 hours of trading. Surprise! We've seen this before. We're going to see it again. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you love this volatility, if you promise to study and capitalize on this opportunity. I'll see you in chat. Let's see what we got coming up.